Hey there, this is Tom with the Diogenes Lamp podcast. I appreciate you listening in, and most importantly, I hope you enjoy what you hear. Before we start with today's episode, I'm going to ask you for a small favor. Believe it or not, history podcasts, especially in their early stages, tend not to be cash cows. Shocker, I know. I too was blindsided by this news. Now, I didn't go into this for the money. I think that much is obvious. But unfortunately, books, research materials, and equipment aren't free. Please, go to patreon.com/Diogenes Lamp Podcast, and for less than the price of a coffee once a month, you can become a member and get access to bonus episodes, recommended reading lists and documentaries, shout-outs, and anything else we'll offer in the future as this project grows. If you are especially broke, hey, I get it, but please, make sure to give us a 5-star review when you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the pod on your preferred podcast listening medium. Your support is appreciated, and more importantly, it is needed in order to keep this operation going. On that note, I hope you have a great day, and now back to the show. To the Greek people, while the parliament elected after the long domestic adventures of the nation in January 1936, in order to redress domestic peace and order, proved itself right from the beginning incapable in this and in providing a government to the country. And this incapacity proved later and even recently due to the incurable party conflicts and personal contentions that little interested the vast mass of the working people. Communism, taking advantage of the circumstances and of the support given to it by different political groups, raised its head impertinently, seriously threatening the social status of Greece. My government, above any party, having been summoned to power in April of this year, and detecting right from the beginning the risks that the Greek society was taking, and determined right from the beginning to take all measures, aiming at the moral and material improvement of all society and especially of farmers, workers, and the poorer in general classes. I appeal to the full and undivided contribution of all Greeks who believe that our national traditions and our Greek culture must remain intact. For this I ask from all full discipline to the state, essential for the salvation of Greek society, without which discipline there cannot be real freedom. I also have to categorically declare that I am determined to exterminate by the harshest way any opposition to this national task of national regeneration. Athens, Greece, August 4th, 1936. That was a quote by the chief of all Greeks, Ioannis Metaxas, as you could probably take away from the date. That was on the same day that he orchestrated a self-coup, essentially creating what will become known as the 4th of August regime. Episode 24, Cats, Commies, and Castor Oil, the Communist Party of Greece. Welcome back, everyone, to the Diogenes Lamp podcast. We're continuing our mini segment, our segment on the Greek Civil War series. Just a quick heads up, again, this episode's on Greek communism. I was lucky enough, though, to have on this episode as a guest Dustin from the NoneTaken podcast. It's been a while since we have had a guest on one of the episodes on the segment, so it was fun to have some company again and, be able to talk about things and whatnot. Luckily for us, and really, if it wasn't for Dustin and his technological savviness, there's a decent chance we wouldn't even have this episode, because I forgot to hit the record button when we started talking. But luckily, Dustin recorded on his end, and he saved the day. So thanks a lot, Dustin. That's why I'm kind of giving this intro. So if the episode sounds a little choppy, that's the reason why. And on to the show. Thank you so much. But yeah, where we left off last, the occupying powers were supposedly trying to govern and organize the peace, but really they just seem to be more into organized mass looting, starvation, mass executions. In that summer of 1941, the occupying powers were really going full speed in on that end of things, right? All the way. But everyone knew like everything was just going to get worse.
Yeah.
If things are bad in the summer, just wait till it gets cold, right?
Right.
And it does get cold in Greece, contrary to what people might think. It get pretty cold, actually, depending where you are. So let's take a second before we go any further and look at how the next couple episodes are going to look as well. And this is just for the listeners in general and people who've been following around. I try to make these episodes where you can listen to them individually, but it is the Greek Civil War segment, so they're all kind of connected a little bit at least, right? So, and I know for the last 16 episodes, we've been talking a lot about non-Civil War stuff, but this is all the build-up for it. And we're actually going to start to get into the Civil War itself. So that's kind of like the good news finally. We're like 16, 17 episodes now. So yeah, that's where we are now. We're going to have a solid like 2 episodes on what's called antistasi, which is the Greek word for resistance.
Okay.
Antistasi.
Okay.
Antistasi. I think I'm saying it right because it depends where the tono is too. Like in Greek, if you say things wrong, like the famous Greek word malaka, it's like wanker. A lot of people know that. But if you say malaka, it means softly.
Which sometimes you want to go softly. You don't always.
Right. Exactly. Another funny thing in Greek, you say ramo means wedding.
Okay.
But if you say ramo, it means fuck.
Oh, well, again, if things go right,
connected.
Yes,
those are connected.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of these words are like that. Like the same thing with nymphi is bride. Nymphi with an M is nympho.
Okay.
I swear they're ancient Greek words. Back then they were all.
Yeah.
So
I don't. They don't stand out to me, but I hear them from my mother-in-law.
That's right. You got a Greek connection too, right?
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the wife is Australian and Greek. There's a lot of Greeks in Adelaide, Australia.
So many in Australia, dude.
Yeah.
So many Greeks in Australia. Oh my God.
And she's not just from Adelaide, but I don't need to get too specific with it. But yeah, like her family. It's her mom brings it out when it's appropriate, and I think when
it's appropriate. Just trying to be nice about it.
Yes, yeah, and it's fun to observe, but I didn't grow up with it. Like she could probably tell some stories.
Yeah. Well, I did an episode with a doctor, not a medical doctor, obviously a PhD guy, history guy, on Cyprus, actually, Interwar Cyprus.
Yeah,
I'll have to send that to you.
That's right.
When that gets released.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay.
So before we get any further, I want to go over some basic stuff. I take it most of our listeners, yourself included, and myself included, before I didn't know much about like the administrative party structure of communism.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's what today's episode on is, pretty much Greek communism in Greece, right?
Okay.
So let's get over it. I'll have to post a chart on the Instagram. At the very top of the communist structure, you have the general secretary, who's like the president. Okay. Like the leader per se.
Regional.
Then you'll have the Politburo, which is like the inner chamber of the central committee and makes all like the important decisions, steers policy agendas and whatnot. Then you have like a central committee that elects the Politburo. I know it's confusing. I'm not. Yeah. Don't worry about remembering any of this, right? But you have the Politburo, and almost think of it like as a pyramid. With the secretary at the top.
I've actually started to draw it out. Yeah, the secretary.
Right. That's all. That's what it looks like. What it comes out as.
Yeah.
And like every country's communist party will run things differently. But this is like generally the general use structure. Right.
And if they do it long enough, they become emperor gods for life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emperor gods. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like, this is supposed to be like a primer refresher, but we're going to get into a lot of stuff today. Okay. So the Greek communists first started out, as many political movements start out, which is when a bunch of disgruntled and disaffected people organize that disillusionment and anger into something tangible. This happened on November 10th in 1918 when a group of Marxist workers trade unionists, and intellectuals all got together and created the Socialist Labor Party of Greece, the SEKE, as we call it. After some realigning with the Comintern, they jumped on board with what was the Third International. I don't know if you know what the Comintern's like the international communist thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Familiar.
The Third International, Third Comintern, disavowed the second one and also voted to link up with the BCF, the Balkan Communist Federation, firmly placing them in association with communist movements in Bulgaria and Serbia.
Okay. Bulgaria doesn't exist.
And like, what was that?
I have a friend that always tells me Bulgaria can't be real. It doesn't exist. So I have a compulsive.
Oh, I think I know where he's from.
Yes, yeah. Well, he insists that they're all Thracians and they should recognize that they're part of ancient Thrace. So.
Oh no! So he's either from the country today of like North Macedonia or Greece.
Yeah,
he's he might be.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Bulgarians will tell you that they're Bulgarians and they're not actually.
Okay.
That's the Balkans.
I get it.
This happened in early April of 1920.
Okay.
Then in April of 1924, there was a third extraordinary Congress, which is a fancy way to say a meeting of global communist members and leaders, where the KKE officially replaced the SEKE, which in between 1920 and 24 had actually become the SEKE with the K at the end, standing for communism. Okay. I know it's confusing. It's alphabet. Which means, so the KKE today, that's the party that everyone knows. It's actually the longest party in Greece. It's the only party from that time that still is today.
So from 1918 to 1924, there was some turmoil that settled with the Communist Party being the KKE, and that's still around now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Communist Party kind of restructured itself, and the KKE was the product that came out of it. Right.
Okay.
Like the important thing to notice, or one of them anyways, is that as we can see, the communists are very much like beholden and involved with what we call, again, the Comintern or the Communist International. Like meaning they are taking policy, strategy, advice, and even decisions from the big heads in Moscow. Okay. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. They're the big guys in charge, really. The Congress made a lot of decisions for the Greek communists because, after all, thinking about it from the Comintern's point of view, it's not like the world revolved around the Greek Reds. Right. They're just a bunch of communists in Greece. Like Moscow's looking at a bigger picture. Right. The Comintern had to worry about what Italian communists and German communists and Turkish communists were all up to, and how that would or could or couldn't interrupt what was going on at the time. That being, communism taking parts of the world by storm. And according to some, the real Kool-Aid drinkers anyways, the proletariat revolution was well on its way. And it was only a matter of time before the capitalist pigs were on their knees. Right. You have to think of the time, like 1920s, they had marched all the way up to like Poland.
Yeah.
Austria had carved out its own independent state.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal, like it was very much different than what we think of. And, I think like this period gets forgotten about a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Like I didn't know about any of this stuff till I started reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Workers of the world unite. That's the thing with the communists, right? Which I mean, hey, I get that, right? I mean, solidarity to the workers. I'm not a communist. No, but they killed my grandparents and whatnot, which is a big part of why it inspired me to write this. But I think there is a lot to be said about respect for workers and laborers.
Absolutely. And then how that gets leveraged by bad actors in political situations. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Unfortunately.
Tales old as time, kind of. Yeah. But
yeah, exactly. It is old as time, right? So, like, clearly the whole revolution thing didn't pan out the way it was supposed to, but hindsight 2020 is a bitch, and the commies didn't have time machines at the time. Anyways, don't forget about the Comintern. Like, they'll play a big role, as we'll see later on. Okay. So the KKE muddles on until January of 1926, when they were outlawed for the first time, under the Pangalos dictatorship, which the Pangalos dictatorship, I don't know if the listeners remember, but he was in there. He was kind of like a hothead Venizelos general, Republican general, not like our Republicans, obviously, today. Yeah. Like, Republican. You get the idea.
Yeah. Was that the one where you had the woman on, the history professor? Was that with him?
Oh, no. That one was on the German invasion in Greece. This would have been covered in the primer episodes. He was a general that cut all the currency in half.
Oh, God. Okay. Like physically? Like each
note?
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. and banned the length of like women's skirts. Like they had to be a certain length.
Okay.
These are the important things.
Yes.
Dustin.
Right. Yeah.
These are important.
Yeah.
So yeah, like as we're gonna see, the KK is gonna be outlawed like more than a couple times in the future. This motley bunch would continue to flounder, and for the next 5 or so years, mostly due to infighting amongst leadership. But it would be reckless to say that was like the only reason. There are a couple of reasons. 4 specifically, I'm going to get into about why they just kind of sucked for a while. And great source, by the way, is this book by Haris Vlavianos. A big source, like highly recommend if you're into really want to nerd out. Anyways, first big reason, Greece was not like a super industrial society at the time. Like, like to get that going, you need like people like working and hold, coal mines. You need like Annie singing "It's a Hard Knock Life" and that kind of thing. And like,
Right.
there just wasn't a lot of that in Greece. It was
Yeah.
still like largely agrarian, unlike France or Russia or the UK or USA.
Right.
It just didn't have it. Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of those peasants owned land.
Oh.
Right.
Wow.
So like
doing well for a peasant. Wait, which peasants did in the industrialized countries or the
in Greece? In
okay,
Greece,
yeah, okay, so doing okay.
Even
for
like the
peasants, doing okay. Peasants actually had some land to them, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Like everyone owns land in Greece.
Yeah,
even like poor villagers today. I mean, everyone.
Well, yeah, and being able to skip the Industrial Revolution, I mean, a lot of time that has to do with like what kind of natural resources you had available too. Like if you didn't have a shitload of iron deposits, like or coal, rather, yeah.
And Greece just doesn't have. I mean, they have some stuff, but they don't have like as much as anywhere close to like other places, U.S. let alone.
It was pretty important resources in the Bronze Age, but
back then.
Wrong,
I think they ran. I don't know exactly, but I think they just ran through it all. Honestly,
sure.
So many of these, agrarian farmers still own land, and they were still very sold on becoming what we would call in this context petit bourgeois, which is like lower middle class, right? And they were just like a lot of peasants working the fields and whatnot. I'm going to quote the author Vlavianos on this. Quote, "The numerical weakness of the industrial proletariat and the absence of a long-standing syndicalistic and political tradition did not allow for the development of a proletarian consciousness, nor, therefore, for the spreading of such a consciousness among the working class to any considerable extent." You get it, right?
Yeah,
like that's the first thing. You got to build class consciousness, all that shit.
Some would say you've got to leverage on, you should be more upset. How do we get you upset enough to be a part of the revolution? Yeah.
Right. And if you're not upset,
you're going to go along with the status quo.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Another reason the KK and the communist ideology just never really took off, at least not around like the same 1910s or so as it was taking off in other places, was because of our old friend, Venizelos. In 1912 to 1913, Venizelos does some serious land reform programs that satisfied both the lower and the middle classes. So thus, the communist revolution wasn't as urgent or as legitimate or as needed. Yeah. Right? You need that need, like you were saying. Yeah. So, like, why would you need some kind of global revolution when reforms are taking place?
Right.
That a lot of people are like, oh, haven't you heard as well? Venizelos is kicking the shit out of the Ottomans. That was another big thing that was happening at the time.
Always happy. Always a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, like rally around the flag effect, right? It always works. Workers in general were just way more into also another reason. They were way more into the two dominant parties at the time, the liberals, which is like Venizelos, Republicans are included in there, kind of like constitutionalists, and the Popular Party, which are mostly like anti-Venizelos and monarchists.
Okay.
So yeah, then we have another big point of all this is another big event is when Venizelos enacted the very restrictive Idionymo law in 1929. So this law, like, pretty much outlawed. It was very authoritarian. Even by Venizelos standards, which he was supposed to be quote unquote liberal. But everyone hated. My point with all this is everyone hated the communists.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you were Venizelos or you were monarchist.
And this is around 26?
1929 is when that law came out.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, the KK has this law they call mass demonstrations. something only like 5% of the labor force actually participates. They're mostly ignored. Like they're just still not that big at this point, the communists.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on to reason number 3. In that, which goes back to the Comintern and just how out of touch they were with how popular certain takes of theirs with the Greek populace was just out of touch. So, like, let me break that down a little bit for you. The Comintern, again, like we talked about earlier, it's kind of like top down. They build policies, they pass on these policies, say, hey, Greek communists in Greece, do this, right? Because whatever, because it abides by communist ideology, and we need this, right? Blah, 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 right? So the KKE had this really smart policy if you wanted Greeks to get Greeks on your side. Genius, right? This was declared by the Comintern that there should be a united and independent Macedonia and Thrace.
Hey.
So this is partly where the issue with the name issue with Macedonia and Greece and North
I know it's an issue, but I don't know the details of it. No,
so I mean,
I know when I look at it on a map, I'm like, well, that's what it's called. Like, I don't really,
right.
Yeah.
So Macedonia, this is like the 60-second version. Macedonia is an ancient Greek region. It's where Alexander the Great was born. Macedonia was an ancient Greek city-state like Sparta, Athens. They participated in the Olympics, which was specifically for Greeks. They spoke Greek. They worshiped the Greek gods. Yada yada. All traits of what you deem a Greek person back then, right?
Yeah.
That region was redistricted when the Romans took over to include parts of modern day Serbia, Bulgaria, North Macedonia, and Greece. So they expanded the borders, similar to what they did after the Jerusalem revolts, where they like crushed them and then they redistricted and yada yada yada, right?
Yeah.
So it stems partly from that. Then you had the Slavs come down in like the 7th century AD.
The whole Slavic migration and everything.
Right. The whole Slavic migration happens, yada, yada, yada. So the Comintern is stating this is part of their policy. There should be a united and independent Macedonian Thracian state, which is like a big, like half of like northern Greece.
Yeah.
Which includes Thessaloniki, the second biggest in Greece. Like, like
that's
big brains, whoever thought this would be popular.
Right. Yeah. What are you, the British and the French, right? Making funny
right.
in the Middle East? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Were they in on this? Or did they join the Comintern?
Sounds like it. Yeah. Just for fun,
right.
like British Petroleum was probably in the room. Just, it sounds like something
when they drafted this policy. Yeah. Exactly, right? So, it's just like they had literally just beat the Ottoman Empire over this land, then beat back the Bulgarians as well. It's like the birthplace of the greatest Greek in history, right? Alexander the Great. Has Thessaloniki, which is, everyone knows Bulgaria wants this, Ottomans want this, Serbia wants this area. Like on all these, Albania, on all their greater maps, Thessaloniki's in there. Like everyone wants Thessaloniki.
Yeah.
So like really, really smart.
Yeah.
And like something additionally, like 700,000 Greek refugees from Asia Minor had just settled into these regions.
Oh my gosh.
So like, it's not like now you want to break it off and make another state.
Right.
So like, that was a big reason why like they were not popular. Okay. We're going to see later they're going to drop that policy.
Okay. But that was coming from from Moscow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're the big heads.
Right.
Stalin later dissolves the Comintern. Like,
sure. Right. Yeah. God King. We
fucking Stalin's insane.
Yeah.
Just will kill anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. This doesn't work with what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
This makes me nervous.
Yeah. Yep.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Somebody get that magic eraser for the photo. Yeah.
Right. And one final reason that I think is really important to go over is just the general unstable party leadership. So like, just to give you some numbers to get a better feel of what I mean when I say unstable, from 1918 to 1931, the KKE went through 8 different leaders.
Oh, wow.
So like unstable, right? Textbook.
Right.
How do you build any mass political movement when you change a leadership every other year or whatever,
Yep.
And the answer is you don't.
Right. Right.
You just perpetually suck in your respective realm.
Yeah.
And that's what the KKE did for a while until a certain Mr. Nikos Zachariadis comes along and really sets things in order. So let's talk about this guy.
Okay.
Nikos Zachariadis, pretty like seminal, like well-known figure in contemporary Greek politics when talking about especially the Greek left. Zachariadis was born into what we would call a petite bourgeois family, again, middle lower class. And just to clarify, like to be bourge is to be one of like the bourgeois class. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have a lot of money. To be a true bourgeois, you know this because current events and stuff. And you talk about all this stuff on your podcast. You need to own the means of production.
Right.
Like a factory owner, entrepreneur, trader,
It's
landlord.
like middle class, someone that could buy a house in the suburbs, sort of, right?
Right, and
nice
has like their own like
apartments,
little LLC and
Yeah,
like a little
right.
landscaping business on the side and that kind of thing.
Maybe they run a shop. I mean, they're small
Yeah.
capitalists. They don't own the means of production, but they do own the methods of selling it to you, and they participate with.
Textbook wise, to be bourgeois, you're supposed to.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You're supposed to. Now,
Yeah.
in reality, those people that are just anyone who's middle class just probably gets thrown into that. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is what happens over and over.
Well, it's harder to have
anyways,
class warfare when there's only 10 or 12 people that are actually the definition of bourgeois. You know, you got to
right.
large
Just
group
like
of people to hate.
Think of it today. Like, how can you get access to any of these billionaires, anyways? Like, if there was a conflict today, you can't even. These people are untouchable. So
Right.
who's the only people that are close by?
Right. Yeah.
Your quote unquote rich neighbor.
Right. Yep.
That other people are pissed off about, and that maybe envy and whatever. And whether they're shitheads or not, there are people that are going to be envious of them, and then they take out their anger on them because they're available.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So, let's talk about Nico a little bit.
Okay.
He was born in 1902 and raised in Adrianople, today Edirne in Turkey. After the Asia Minor catastrophe, that was the big war in 1922, where the Greeks went into Turkey. They took over like half of it, lost, had to go back. So he, like many other Greeks in the former Ottoman Empire, get out of the dying Ottoman Empire and go to Greece, where he ends up in 1923. While in Greece, he ends up really making a name for himself in the KKE's youth wing, and even gets imprisoned in 1926 for the first time of many times due to him campaigning for, again, an independent Macedonian state, per the Comintern line.
Right.
And like the Bulgarian Communist Party also like really pushed this state as well. It was a big thing they were pushing as well. In 1929, he's able to escape prison and make it to the USSR, where he studied at the very prestigious KUTV, or the Communist University of Eastern Peoples, which was a university set up by the Comintern to help educate international, I'm doing air quotes so people can't see, international students to spread communism worldwide. Like, to be fair, though, if you're a poor farmer it is an education. All your education is indoctrination.
Indoctrination, propaganda. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but you are like learning to read and write or whatever. And like,
it's not quite Columbia University, but you know,
right.
It's
like you could call it PragerU.
PragerU, right? Yes. Yeah. I'm Penis Prager. Sorry.
Right. It's like that. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
These students will be known for being very, very obedient and loyal to the Comintern, and thus Moscow and Stalin in this case, right? Earning the nickname KUTvists, and earning them the nickname. Anyone who went to the KUTV, earning them the nickname Hajists.
Oh,
like a Haji, you make a pilgrimage.
Oh,
because they made the pilgrimage to Moscow.
No way! Wow.
Yeah,
they could be racist too. That's fun.
Yeah, right. Right.
Good.
For their time, 1920s, we're talking about. They still were.
Well, my friends were saying it, coming back from Iraq. So, I mean, that's their excuse.
I heard it.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool. I think we could use it in this case as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it was based off of that. They call them Hajis. So, which this university, by the way, also had some very famous alumni, like a Mr. Nguyen Sin Kung, or you may better recognize him by his more commonly used name, Ho Chi Minh.
I thought you were going to say that. I was like, that's a Vietnamese name. I know my Vietnamese names when I hear them. Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And this is really a prime example, like how this KUTV and the Comintern really were spreading communism like worldwide, from Vietnam to Greece. There were people from Iran, Kenya, China, Palestine. Like, it was a global thing, right?
Right.
Workers of the world unite. Literally, like this communist ideology is supposed to break down, national boundaries. And ultimately, world workers, right?
Right.
And that kind of stuff.
Yep. The global proletariat.
What was that?
The global proletariat.
Exactly. The global proletariat. Exactly. And just to give us a better look at this KUTV University, let's hear it from the Man of Steel himself. Oh, I don't mean Superman. I know you were excited to hear from Superman. Stalin. And this is a speech he gave to a graduating class in 1925. So, end quote. The task of the University of the Peoples of the East is to make them into real revolutionaries, armed with the theory of Leninism, equipped with practical experience of Leninism, and capable of carrying out the immediate tasks of the liberation movement in the colonies and dependent countries with all their heart and soul.
That's quite a directive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
Spread forth.
Imagine
know.
Imagine this is something I wrote. I must have wrote this when I was thinking of this, but Stalin walks up to the podium and some guy goes, "That's not Dumbledore. I wanted to be in." Did I go to the wrong school? Immediately get sent to a gulag. Oh my gosh! Just a random side thought.
And that young man was Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I never got to say that name with confidence.
So in September 1931, Moscow sends a former commissar to the KKE. Zachariadis is appointed party leader by the Comintern, and he immediately gets to work on organizing and unfucking the KKE. Oh. And by 1936, before Metaxas comes to power, we know Metaxas, yes. Obviously, membership rose from 1,500 to 15,000 under Zachariadis.
In a matter of years? A couple of years?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. 5 years.
Whoa. Wow.
So tenfold in 5 or so years.
And what was going on? Like, was there also unrest happening at that time, or was it just...
There was unrest,
okay.
Yeah. So, like, there was... Greece had a Republican coup in 35.
Oh, wow. There
was a coup in 36 to get the king in power. Then there was another coup for Metaxas coup himself.
Okay.
But the biggest part, the biggest reason that they raised their membership so much, aside from Zachariadis, is that they dropped the independent Macedonian state of thing.
Made it more palatable.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
so we can keep Alexander in our history, and we can get this communism that I was sympathetic to, basically.
Okay. Right. It's kind of like what you were saying, like make a bigger tent policy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's called what's called a popular front.
Yep.
Popular front policy, which we lack completely in the United States.
Yeah.
Like European politics have labor parties and stuff like that.
Right. Well, but since we only have 2, we're like, we'll go so far that we'll court Bernie Sanders, but we won't let him run anything. Right. It's like, okay, well, all right.
Exactly.
What happens 8 years after that? You have no identity. Good job, Thanks. Democrats.
Will you help me pay my medical debt?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, and in fact, you're gonna.
No, you will not.
You owe double for school now too, just for no reason. Yeah.
Shut up. We hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So before Zachariadis, just so we have like a recap, who was in charge before Zachariadis was this guy called George Siantos, and he was more of a homegrown Greek communist. Let's call him that. Okay. He wasn't like a fancy like KUTV or a Haji as he called them. Okay. Yeah. And pretty much the reason Zachariadis replaced him and why the Comintern sent someone from Moscow in the first place to like audit the KKE is because they weren't being submissive enough to the Comintern, right? Like towing the party line.
Yeah. That'll
make
sense.
Canned.
Yeah.
Same way every political party is like that, whether they're communists or not.
Yeah. If they start having purity tests, you better,
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get the committee seating you want. You don't get funding. You don't get that promotion.
Yep.
And like Siantos especially didn't obey the Comintern when it came to giving up to the Macedonian issue.
Okay.
And this divide within the commies between the nationalist-driven Greek communists and the Comintern-driven Greek communists, it's not going to go away, like we're going to see.
Okay.
And that's pretty much why also Zachariadis was sent, right, to instill Comintern agenda and party discipline. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's the big thing.
Okay. All right. I'm eager to see how that gets resolved.
No. It does.
Okay.
Zachariadis ends up shooting himself in the middle of Siberia, like in the mid-50s.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's committing suicide.
Is that the end of in the middle of Siberia?
Yeah. You'd have to look it up. It was like on the border of Kazakhstan.
Oh, dear.
It was somewhere bleak.
Wow.
It's really bad. Google it, but I forgot exactly. You'll have to relook it up.
Okay.
And, because it just, he's well known. Like I have a professor who used to be like a former communist, and she was like, I mentioned Zachariadis one time. She's like, oh, that idiot. Like, we hate him. He's a loser. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
He was your guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Some people liked him for a while. Yeah.
right. It's different. Like in Greece, like there's the Communist Party consistently gets like 6 to 9%
Okay.
of the
Still.
vote. Still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes as much as 11, depending on
Okay.
how bad things are.
All right. I don't like when 9s skip 10 and go to 11. Just, in American history, it's like, why is it 9 or 11? Like,
that's the American in you,
yeah,
man.
it is. It is.
So let's get going a little bit to 1936.
Okay.
The 4th of August regime, which, as we know, is like the fascist. Isn't exactly like, it's not exactly a fascist state, but it's authoritarian dictatorship with quite fascist tendencies. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
There's definitely some fascist stuff. It was highly mimicked from, there was a lot of things he took from Mussolini, even things from Hitler as well. But it just didn't have the same expansionist, racist, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It lacked that. Political parties were banned.
Uh-huh.
Even his own political party was banned. Metaxas had his own political party that he banned himself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, it's just different.
So
but
wait, this
anyways,
is the 4th of August regime. This is
1936.
but who is that regime? That's
Metaxas.
okay. All right.
This is the guy, he self-couped himself. He was prime minister. He self-couped himself, and the king signed off on the suspension of the constitution. So it's similar to Spain, where it was dictatorship, but you also had the king. Similar to like that.
Okay.
A lot of political
It
scientists
reminds
say.
me of the Baudrillard quote that power can stage its own death, just to regain a glimmer of its past legitimacy, something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of like what his regime was alive. I mean, it was trying to like regain ancient Greece and stuff like that. It's interesting. We have the episode, I think like 7 and 8 is the number. I have like a couple episodes on this. So, give that a listen if you guys want to recap that. But yeah, as we know, Metaxas does a self-coup August 4th, 1936. And he is immediately able to thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, hunt down and round up communist leaders. First, Metaxas' spy network arrests Zachariadis and another member of the Central Committee. The other guy, unfortunately for the KKE, was very organized and just like textbook situation, right? He had an archive of KKE like documents with people's names and positions and like that kind of thing.
Okay.
He's like, I fall asleep every night
just
to a picture of the entire party organization.
What's
could go
crazy
wrong?
is that that's definitely how you frame someone, but there are also people that are always doing that, right? Like if we
it happens all the time.
Yes,
I swear to God,
there's always somebody who's like
time.
documenting their crimes. It's like, oh God,
all the time.
Yep.
I've ran into that so many times in this podcast. There's another one we're going to come into another later during the resistance. It's really funny. So, like, of course, these archives are used, and by mid-1938, the Asfaria, which the Asfaria was like the secret police. They're the guys that'll like bump into your house, wake you up in the middle of the night, beat the shit out of you. That secret police, anyways, for the 4th of August regime. They had rounded up practically everyone else in the Politburo except Santos. Remember the guy before Zachariadis? And yeah. Santos forms his own Politburo in the meantime, with a couple members of the Central Committee who hadn't been arrested yet. And he was able to keep things going until November 1939. Then they got him as well.
Okay.
This left very few commies in leadership positions, primarily just some guys, Papianis, Katsakis, Kanakis. And knowing, hey, everyone else is gone, I think it's just us, they took the initiative and created their own Central Committee, which would be known as the Old Central Committee, or the OCC.
Okay.
And it was led by a guy named Plumbidis, who was in a sanatorium, which is where he directed what was left of the KKE. It sounds unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Sanatoriums were different then, I guess we'll go with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see here.
Directing the KKE from a sanatorium.
Yeah.
So is this what, like, ushers in
there's a lot.
Okay.
It's going to go in a lot of directions. Okay. I mean, Zachariadis, he's in prison. Santos is gone, right? So there's just the OCC, there's just the Old Central Committee. Zachariadis was imprisoned up in Corfu. I don't know if it's an island on the Adriatic coast.
Okay.
Really beautiful place. except if you're in the prison there. And this is the thing too, like, speaking of islands, okay, like, you know how like Russia has their like gulags in Siberia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Greece has their islands in the Aegean.
Uh-huh.
It's like, you know, these beautiful islands and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's where they were
Like,
sending their dissidents.
yes, this is where they would exile their dissidents. And it just blew my mind because it's like,
Yeah.
some of them are so tiny islands. You're like, these are beautiful places.
That really is a gulag archipelago. Like, it's like quite
Right.
definitionally. Wow.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right. And it's like, you know, a completely beautiful place. Blue skies, everything like that. But like some of these islands were, you know, like
Rough history.
they weren't I mean, some sources I've read have described them as like gulags of the Aegean.
Okay. Wow.
And these are names that some people recognize. So for my listeners, so here's some of the names that I found. Folegandros, I always wanted to visit Folegandros. Sifnos, Aegina, Amorgos, always wanted to visit Amorgos. Some of these places are on my bucket list. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then there are more like lesser known, like islets. Like, you know, Greece has
Yeah.
like thousands of
Right.
tiny little islands.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
Yeah.
Anafi, or just east of Santorini, famous Santorini, Aiostrati. By Livnos, there's another island, Ravdos, which is like the southernmost island in Greece. Like it's just south of Crete. All these little tiny islands, these people are getting exiled to. Now, when you were exiled or imprisoned to these islands, this wasn't, as I'm sure you've gathered, like a paid for vacation. Right. In most cases, you were either exiled, so you were monitored under house arrest of sorts.
That was probably
or you were
good.
Yeah, that'd be the best deal.
Yeah.
That'd be
I was
great.
imagining a tower of some sort. Like,
well, there were some.
Yeah.
There were some like places. There's a famous, very infamous place called Makronisos. It was established after the Civil War, I believe, but that's like infamous.
Wow.
The
That's
junta
like-
used it. There was a dictatorship in 67 to 74 that the CIA set up.
So,
Naturally.
not at all surprising. Yes.
Yeah. I think it was Bill Clinton that formally apologized for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So they also like exiled a lot of communists there and like tortured them and stuff. So yeah, Makronisos has often been referred to as the Devil's Island. And again, like a lot of historians have referred to it more as like a gulag in Siberia than idyllic Cycladic island, you know.
I'm
so-
sure the weather there is just menacing. You know, it's either, I mean, you're probably exposed, right? Is that one of those tiny islands you were talking about?
It's not that big, yeah. It's tiny.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is the exposure, right? Because the
Right.
sun's brutal in Greece.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's brutal.
And then, you know, when it's cold because there's nothing
Right.
there. You're just exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a desert. Greece is like a desert climate,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yep.
Not everywhere, but especially down there by the Aegean and stuff, it's
Mhm.
very deserty type climate. Now, all prisoners, for the most part, regardless of islands, had it tough, but places like Makronisos were especially bad. Prisoners were beaten, starved, forced to work, you know, all pretty standard stuff. But on Makronisos, things could get even worse. So, like, and this was not just Makronisos, but other islands as well, like that they would do. So, if you were a high ranking commie or just like very quote unquote special, right, then you get special treatment. So, the special and treatment included being forced to sit on dry blocks of ice and then being force fed castor oil,
That's
which gives you
diarrhea and
what it gives-
vomit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Diarrhea, vomiting. Yeah. The whole point's, you know, humiliation and degradation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like, which is really fucked up thing they do when Guantanamo Bay, when they have people doing hunger strikes and they do anal rehydration stuff.
Do you know who led some of that? Do you know who?
DeSantis, right?
Yep. You got it.
He was like, I read, that's the article you were talking.
Yep.
I read the article when he was like a lawyer that was like consulting with.
Yep. And he was sent there as a JAG officer to make sure that they were like, look, if you're a prisoner there, nobody there is on your side. And his job is to make sure that the people that are watching you that are not on your side are doing their job ethically by American standards, even though we sent you off to an island in the Pacific or in the Caribbean. Now I'm saying all of that like legal speaking. I'm not using any like
No, you're right.
editorial.
It's the purpose of it.
Yeah. But what happened was he went in there, pretended to be friendly with the people that were detainees. And you have to remember, these people were not people that caused 9/11. These are some Pashtun that a goat herder said, fuck that guy over there, to the right person. That
there were some guys that were in prison for like 20 years and just released.
They just had like a local beef with some guy that had a CIA guy talking to him on the wrong day.
And there were some of those guys in there, yes, but it definitely wasn't like
yes.
I'm
not saying all of them were this version. I'm saying
right.
And so he would talk to them like, hey, you don't, what's going on that's really tough for you? What's going on that you like? He found out what they hated and then told the guards, hey, this is what's working. This is what they hate. Let's emphasize that. Dude, he's such a piece of shit. Like,
DeSantis is pretty terrible, dude.
Yeah, and like
not pretty terrible. DeSantis is terrible.
Yeah, but that's not why we're here.
Rick Scott, Florida, we have the worst. I mean, seriously, these guys are so bad in Florida.
I forget. You get that. Yep, you get that.
Fucking Rick Scott, dude. I mean, he's worth like $250 million right now.
Fucking hell, man.
DeSantis too. DeSantis came in worth like $1 million, and he's worth like I think like 70-80 million.
No, but let's talk about Nancy Pelosi, which like absolutely, but it's just like don't like 100%. This is a problem across the like don't just point at one of these and yeah exactly.
Listen, Nancy Pelosi's an old woman, so it's easy to
yeah.
So another really speaking of state of the art hydration or state of the art torture. Another state-of-the-art torture thing or strategy was you take a dude or a woman or whoever, you tie him up, you throw him in a cloth sack with
like a
half a dozen cats or so.
Come on.
And
half a dozen cats or so? What's the or so mean? Like, all we could find was a raccoon.
What's the over?
Yeah.
What's the over or under on this? Are we talking 12 cats, 15, or 9?
Right.
And then you take the cloth sack with said cats and you slowly submerge it in a couple of feet of water repeatedly.
Oh my God.
Some detainees would die from hemorrhaging.
From like being clawed by cats?
Being clawed
in a wet. Oh man. And like, was there a way to get out of this, or were they just messing with you? There wasn't like.
There's a way to get out. There's a way to get out of it. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you. I mean,
they were trying to get something from them, or were they just having fun torturing commies?
They were trying to get something. Okay. They were trying to get something from them. So, with methods like these and many others, Maniadakis, by the way, was the head of the Ministry of Security. He was like the head guy of the Sfalia and everything. He was super loyal to Metaxas. Would then convince, quote unquote, to sign what are called declarations of repentance.
Okay.
Which is like, Panel has admitted his wrongdoings and has been rehabilitated by the state and yada yada and has denounced his communist ways, right? And they'd publish him in the newspapers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Isn't that nuts? And think of like the small town nature of like a place like Greece. It's tiny.
Right.
So they put in your local fucking newspaper.
I was a dirty commie, but I'm not anymore.
Right. I'm not anymore.
Yeah. And
can you hire me, please?
Yeah. And
I need
you
a
all
job.
know the reason that I said that is because I was tortured. Like,
right.
Wow.
I was made to sit on a block of ice.
Yeah.
I now have an extreme phobia of cats.
But after that, I realized the error of my communist ways.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus. So, yes. So, they'd publish them in the newspaper with their names and stuff, with the declaration, yada, yada, yada. The 4th of August regime ran from 1936 until the Nazis took over Greece in 1941. By the time the Italian invasion started in October 1940, somewhere in the ballpark of 55,000 of these declarations had been signed.
That's
now,
so
doesn't
much
mean
work.
55,000 had been tortured, but they were still we were coerced into signing.
Yeah, that's
now,
a lot
the
of
funny
cats.
thing is
that would be so many cats.
So the funny thing with 55,000 of these declarations being signed is that what the actual membership of the KKE was at the time?
Was like,
guess.
50,000, something close but less.
It was 14,000.
Oh my God. It's a literal witch hunt. So it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's like, of course, like all this excess torture and persecution results in lots of people, like maybe they were like a little sympathetic to communist ideology before, right? But now they become like, have full absolute hatred for the 4th of August regime.
Right.
After they've had like a fucking, cat maul them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say what you want about the IDF. They didn't put people in sacks, because it's the same thing. It's like all you're doing is making future generation people to not trust you.
Yeah. Yes. It's indiscriminate violence.
Yeah. collective
tends to
punishment.
radicalize people, unfortunately.
Yep. And not to say nothing about the cats. I mean, the cats must hate,
Yeah, I'm sure the cats aren't very happy either.
No.
Cats don't like water.
And they don't know which one of you is doing this. They don't like any of you now. Now you made upset cats. Come on.
Now the cats are forming a union.
Yes.
Now the cats are organized.
You haven't even invented laser pointers yet. Like you've got nothing to do to stop this. All right.
Right. So like predictably, a lot of these people later they join the KKE.
Okay.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So before we got into the topic of felines and dry ice, and we talked about how efficient that was, we were talking about the Sfaria, the secret police, and how they were like infiltrating the communist networks and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right. So they were doing that via employing spies, and then they decapitated the party leadership. But what's something else you could do to completely destroy a political movement?
Otherwise discredit it, humiliate its leadership. I mean, you're discredit it somehow.
Yeah, kind of. You think it's so? I'll tell you, and it'll make sense when I tell you. You have it turn on itself.
Duh. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Which is really, when you hear this, you're going to be like, "Holy shit, this is genius!"
Yeah.
But maniacally genius. So, after about 3.5 years or so of capturing and jailing communists and making them sign these declarations of repentance, Maniadakis gets the genius idea. And again, you'll be like, holy shit, this is genius. To create his own central committee.
God damn it.
Which is headed by 2 former Politburo members who had become collaborators in the 4th of August regime.
What? And they're officially a part of his government?
Yes. And he created even his own. So the communists had a newspaper called Rizospastis, which means it's the word for radical in Greek.
Okay.
He created even his own Rizospastis newspaper.
Same name.
Yep.
So this is just truly controlled opposition.
Completely. No, it's exactly.
Gosh.
It's literally controlled opposition.
Yeah.
Like we say that word a lot in the current, political.
It's like, okay, yeah, if you squint at it, it might be, but this is like, no, I hired them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually controlled opposition. Yeah.
With the same newspaper, just like, maybe nicer paper. Like you wouldn't know the difference. Like,
yeah. It's like the meme with the Spider-Men all pointing to each other.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. God.
So you not only have like constantly hunting and jailing communists, you have, double spies working for you, and you have your own central committee working for you, and you have your own newspaper with the same name of the authentic one. That you then use to call the actual and legitimate committee and newspaper traitors and double agents. And
this is brilliant. This must have worked perfectly. It
worked perfectly.
Before social media or internet, like, wow.
It worked perfectly.
It's the same thing. It's what we do right now. We go on the websites and oh my God.
It's genius.
Oh, wow.
So his committee was called the TA, the Temporary Administration. And it acted as the legitimate committee.
Wait, who is he in this?
The Maniadakis, the security minister. So the TA is the controlled one. Remember what we were talking about earlier, the OCC is the surviving one.
Right, out of the mental institution.
Right, the guy being operating out of the sanatorium.
Okay.
So how does this happen, right? Because it sounds like fucking bonkers.
Right.
Like how does one allow this to happen?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you how. Zachariadis orders one of the commies to sign a declaration of repentance, thinking he would be like an inside man for Zachariadis.
Well done.
But instead, the opposite happened.
Oh.
So instead, the guy becomes like a liability. So instead of like having a trusted source, he's a liability.
He went native? Like he got captured by the movement, or?
He, instead of like being, so Zachariadis was like, yo, sign this, just act like you'll cooperate with the government.
Yeah, he bought
and
it.
then he actually did end up cooperating
yeah,
with the
yeah,
government.
I get it. Okay, the opposite of, yeah, okay, yeah.
But Zachariadis never got the memo that, hey, I actually am.
Oh, God.
But then that same inside man would then flip again and warn the communists shortly after the Italian invasion, which helped save a lot of communists from getting busted.
Wow.
So he like went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
But all this stuff caused like mass confusion, and it paralyzed the communist leadership. Paralyzed them.
Yeah.
So, as we'll see, though, it's not just the fact that you have fake party newspapers, committees, sowing division, distrust everywhere. causing confusion. There's also the old issue of party versus country,
Yeah.
right? Remember we were talking about earlier, you had the homegrown communist Siantos, and then you had the Haji Zachariadis, right?
Right.
So, let's get into the Greek communist weeds and the drama, the politics of it all.
This has been fascinating. I did not know this detail at all about this. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's really, really interesting, man. Like all this stuff is just going on and just crisscrossing. So in February 1939, the Central Committee of the KKE, the old Central Committee of the OCC, right? The real one, okay?
Right.
Held their 5th plenum, which a plenum is like a meeting. There's 7 of them.
Plenum is an air box on an air conditioner. It's where all the
is that what it is?
That's what it is in my line of work. Yes, but
Lenin is like this air box conditioner thing. We'll name our party apparatus after it.
Exactly.
So yeah, they have a plenum. Every party's different, but generally speaking, the OCC holds one plenum every year or so. So at this plenum, with Siantos in charge, he was in charge of the party at the time. He escaped from exile, the homegrown. He escaped from exile, and the plenum declares that, quote, our party struggles to secure the independence and integrity of Greece, but at the same time, it states that the greatest enemy of our country's independence and integrity is found in Athens. It is the monarcho-fascist dictatorship. So they're not, they're being like tankies, but in their respect, the government was pretty much monarcho-fascist. It was a dictatorship. It was authoritarian, totalitarian, going, through and through. Whether you want to debate whether it was communist, fascist, whatever, you know what I mean? In my mind, authoritarians. I fucking eat shit authoritarians, right?
I've had my mute button on. I've been saying all this whole time. Yeah, I'm saying it's not a. My dog's made a noise, and I think I muted it.
Oh, that's all right.
It's not a liberal democracy. If any,
exactly.
Exactly.
It's authoritarian through and through.
Yeah.
Right. So the plenum went on to criticize this Greek. There was a Greek-Bulgarian treaty that was signed in 1938, which the KKE considered Greek submission to Bulgaria.
Okay.
There's a lot of other stuff going on in there too, I'm sure.
Okay.
So this is now we're in 1939. Then July of the same year comes around, the Comintern sends a directive rebuking the KKE's anti-Metaxas stance.
Okay.
So they're kind of saying, like, no, stupid, the Italians are the real fascists. You should support your government. Big idiot, dumb, like,
okay.
Like, support your government. The Italians are the real fascists, blah, blah, blah.
This is
blah,
fine.
Blah.
We're doing fine.
Yeah, the Comintern's like, you can support Metaxas and be communists and fight the fascists,
Just render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's and render unto Moscow.
Yeah, like you just said, right. Yeah.
The individual, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Render on to Lenin what you're going to render on to Lenin and Stalin. So as things in Europe develop and the Nazi-Soviet pact is linked, the Comintern pivots again.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot what timeline this was. I was having so much fun just pretending I was in the 30s with zero context around it. Holy shit. We're going into a bad place, aren't we?
Yeah. We're going to 19. This is like 1939. Because remember, Nazi-Soviet pact link, it's when Russia and Germany both invade Poland practically at the same time. They chop it up.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
Poor Poland. So the Comintern pivots again, moved from an anti-Axis stance to urging all European communist parties to put an end to this, quote, imperialist war. So they pivot again, right? So the Italian and French and Bulgarian communists are like, did you get the new email? Did you get the memo?
Right.
And this new directive even called for direct sabotage of their own country's infrastructure and militaries if necessary to stop the imperialist war.
God damn.
So this is like super tankyism. This is like
that is not going to help when you get invaded by these imperialists. Like,
right. Yeah. Exactly. And this is where, like, tankies are very annoying.
Yeah.
But this is like a whole nother level of tankyism.
Yeah. Imagine if they had video game chat rooms to give up all of their state secrets on, like we do today.
The government would be just like, "Yep, taking notes. Thank you."
Fuck. Yeah.
It'd be worse than the guy who hung his wallpaper with the party leadership.
God.
So let's get into this next thing. This is another like Communist Party thing. It's called the letters. There's a letter controversies, and I mean that in plural letters, multiple letters. So specifically what I'm referring to are there 3 letters drafted by Zachariadis while he's in jail, where he lays out his opinions on the direction that the KKE should take. So, Italy invades Greece October 28th, 1940. 3 days later, 1940. 3 days later, on October 31st, 1940, Zachariadis, who was currently in prison in Athens, handed Maniadakis his famous quote-unquote open letter, as it's called. It's very famous in this kind of historical stuff with the history of communism in Greece. And it said most notably that, quote, in this war which is directed by the Metaxas government, all of us should give our whole strength without any reservation. So he's saying, fight the Italians.
Yeah.
He's saying.
Yeah.
Now,
Greece
as you can
first,
imagine,
then we can fight with each other.
Right, exactly. Take care of them first, then, And as you can imagine, when Maniadakis read this, he's like, fuck yeah, we'll publish this. This is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Zachariadis who was taking a patriotic, per se, stance. The communists at the Acropolis camp had also written a letter on October 29th, taking a similar unifying stance. So the Greek communists are like, you know what? We hate the Orthodox regime, but damn it, ya lada for Greece.
Okay.
Right? Now give me that castor oil and that bag of cats.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, the OCC, remember the real Central Committee, not the fake one, not the controlled opposition,
Right.
They end up denouncing this famous open letter as a fake, as a forgery.
Because of the environment that's been created.
Right, because the Comintern, remember, had told them to sabotage your own governments if need be.
Oh, my God.
But Zachariadis didn't get the memo.
Oh, my God. And
they blame, they're ridiculous. It's all ridiculous, dude. It's so ridiculous.
There is a comedy about this. I will say his name wrong. Zachariadis. Don't make me do that again. There is a comedy to that life, right? Like this arc. Wow, it's like a Coen Brothers
dude.
movie.
I had to reread this like 8 times to make sure I got it correctly and could spell it out in a simple manner.
Wow, you're doing great. It's hard to believe. Wow.
Thank you. I tried. Lord knows I tried. So the real Central Committee, they end up denouncing Zachariadis' famous open letter as a forgery. And they blamed the war on the, quote, royalist Metaxas gang, which has been ordered by the English imperialists, cannot bear any relation whatsoever to the defense of our country, nor is it a war against fascism, end quote. This sound very familiar to a lot of current events in America.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, my God.
So I know it's totally nuts, huh? Yeah. So we're seeing both the Cominterns and the Central Committee in Greece flip back and forth. So the big question was really at the crux of all this drama, and it's controversial to Zachariadis' legacy, is whether it was truly a patriotic stance or was he just following the 1939 directive? Because remember, there was the directive from the Comintern before to support the Metaxas regime and fight the Axis. Then he got jailed. Then the Comintern, July 1939, says, no, stop the royalist Metaxas gang in September of 1939.
Okay.
So the timing, the dates of when he got jailed and when the Comintern sent new instructions
he could have literally missed it. Is that what you mean?
Right, exactly. To put it more simply, did he know about the new September Comintern directive?
And how long apart was it?
One was in September, the other one was in July.
That is so recent.
Yeah, they were 2 months, 2 months away?
Yeah. So he could have been doing his own version of trying to get in there and change things, right?
What was that?
So are you saying that he could have been doing his own version of trying to get, because you said he was trying to have that guy on the inside.
He could have had his, there's a lot of theories. You're getting on the right track though. That's the crux of it all, is was it his own initiative? Was he just following the older directive from the Comintern? Did he not get the new directive from the Comintern because he was jailed? Right. And that's the first big, and the historian Haris Vlavianos, who I'm going to use as a source for this episode, he lays out 4 reasons why Zachariadis may have followed the July Comintern directive, which was the one that was fight the fascists, the anti-tanky stance. So 1, we just talked about, he could have claimed he was confused. He was in jail since 1936. So he could play dumb. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I've been in jail, bro. Sorry I didn't get...
Right. You guys got to be communicating with me better in here, get the pigeons going more often or whatever.
Right. Reason number 2, Greece was at war with Italy, not Germany. and remembering that the Soviets had signed a pact with the Nazis, well, he could use this as an example for his reasoning.
Okay.
Right? It was Italy they were at war with at the time. Later, Germany attacks Greece after Italy failed. Right? Reason number 3, going with the tanky, quote-unquote, blaming the royalists Metaxas gang line that the Comintern wanted him to follow would have pissed off most of Greece.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to hear that shit when you just got unilaterally invaded by your neighbor?
Right. Yeah. It's hard for the proletariat to unite, when they've got a country to defend.
Exactly. Like, and like leading up to that, there had been years of provocation by Italy for all the stuff they were doing. So like, it wouldn't look very patriotic, communist or not, to be like, it's the government's fault.
Right.
Like, like no one likes tankies.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and lastly, and this was actually one of the demands of the communists at the Acropolis camp, which, by the way, if I didn't mention it before, Acropolis was a location where around 600 commies were imprisoned. So there's like different like microcosms of communist communities set up depending on which camp they're around. And they're all like disjointed from each other in many cases.
Right.
So those guys at that camp demanded that Metaxas free them so that they could fight the Italians. They were saying, free us, we'll go fight the Italians. So maybe Zachariadis knew that. And that's the stance he took.
Don't hold me back. Like I want to fight them as bad as you do, sort of.
Right. Exactly. So like at the end of the day, whether Zachariadis knew about the updated directive and disobeyed it, or whether he didn't and was following the older one, it's like a huge controversy to his like legacy. But there's also a second and a third letter. There's a second letter dated November 26, 1940. It did match with the updated Comintern September directive, and he calls the war imperialist, and Zachariadis attributes this to the fact that Greece was now in southern Albania, which, to the Greek southern Epirus, there's a Greek minority there, so different story. But he pretty much blamed the whole war on...
Is the same as I would say as Epirus? Is that not... This is different?
Yeah.
That's Epirus?
It's the same.
As in Pyrrhus?
Yeah, Epirus, Epirus. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Wow.
Yeah, it's a region. The northern Epirus is in Albania, southern Epirus is in Greece.
Okay, all right.
So he pretty much blamed the whole war on the English, saying the Greek people wanted, quote, one thing, freedom and neutrality. He suggested that the British forces should withdraw, and the USSR, and what he says here makes sense for a communist to suggest, should mediate.
Right. Okay.
So this time, this second letter, he follows the line. This time when he smuggled the letter to Maniadakis, the security chief, he did not publish it, right? Obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's
as good as the other one. Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Then finally, there's the last letter, the third letter, as it's called. It was dated January 15th, 1941. So still before the Germans come to town. It won't get published until after the war.
Oh. This
letter, Zachariadis finally figured out that the TA was actually ran by Maniadakis.
Oh, he still didn't know?
1941. 1941. He didn't find out until practically, yeah.
You would think, like, being imprisoned, I guess he just had no communication there. Like, was there...
Very little.
Okay.
Yeah. And he called the TA tool of the state, and he calls out the one collaborator guy as well, Michaeliadis.
Wow,
he calls him out
that's so funny.
in the letter.
Oh, my God.
And he also, again, hugs very tightly to the anti-imperialist state line. Metaxas is the enemy, blah, blah, blah. And he ends the letter with, quote, Hail the Communist International, which is the proper title of the Comintern, interestingly enough. And something he didn't write on the slogan, he didn't write on the first two letters.
Okay. Now, is this the last letter?
This is the last letter. You got to go soon?
Yeah. No. I meant, like, is this before he takes a walk into Siberia? Is there a reason?
Oh, he takes a walk in Siberia in like 1953.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's still around for a little bit.
This just feels like the last thing you write. Like, it feels like,
before you.
Yeah.
He shoots himself in like Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there, the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Really, I Google mapped the place. It looks so fucking depressing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Whenever I think Kazakhstan, I don't think Borat. I think of the space industry, like how that's where they launched everything from. Yeah.
I think the Kazakhs would appreciate that.
Yeah. It's not all about potassium.
Right. It's all about potassium.
Yeah.
We have the greatest potassium. Yeah. Like we said, Letters 2 and 3 didn't get published by Maniadakis' fake temporary administration and fake Rizospasis because it went against what Metaxas wanted his propaganda machine to push out, right? Which is interesting because it's like that saved the KKE's reputation to a significant extent. Like, it saved
Oh,
their
yeah.
street cred with the rest of
Right.
Greece.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
like
It's still more palatable?
more palatable because like the letters 2 and 3 were tanky.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only letter that got out was the letter that said fight the Italians.
Right.
And while that aligned with the Metaxas regime, it also made the Zachariadis
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah. I see. Okay. If
You know what I
people would
mean?
have seen 2 and 3, it might have. Yeah. Which is weird.
Right.
Like it almost would have done the ruling party more to release those long term.
2 and 3, yeah.
Yeah. But they decided
You could
not
say
to.
that.
Yeah.
You could say that,
But
right?
it was too revolutionary though.
It was too revolutionary, but you're right. I mean, those letters could have discredited
Yeah. Right.
the communists a lot.
Right. So he must be. You said earlier, like he handed these letters to him at some point. Like
To Maniadakis, yeah, he was giving letters over to Maniadakis.
what?
But like
what method is there to actually get these out? Like especially when you're a political prisoner.
Right. Well, that's the great question, right? And the big thing is, and this is a big mistake, by the way, I've seen in other places too, is that the Asfalia, the secret police, they dropped the ball on, is what they dropped the ball on. And this is such a classic like case. And again, if you listen to Mike Duncan's Revolutions podcast, the communists did this too in Tsarist Russia. Is when they can't talk. When they imprisoned anarchists and communists and Marxists together, they put them all together in these islands or whatever, and they like let them be, if that makes sense. So they were literally holding classes on Marxism, training people,
refining,
newbies.
sharpening their
right.
Wow.
So you go in the can with all these communists. Maybe you were just a sympathizer before, and you were unjustly jailed or whatever, but now you come out an indoctrinated, full-blooded communist. Like
America does that pretty well too, but we just do it with drug dealers.
Right. And I feel like white nationalists or whatever, Nazis,
right.
neo-Nazis.
Yeah, also that, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that's to answer your question, though, and that's like how they were able to like how are you writing letters if you're in jail?
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing
They made
this?
the environment for them to do it. They're like, no, that's fine. Yeah. We already got them in jail. That's all we needed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Better that than drug dealing, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So after the Germans come into town, which we're talking about the spring of 1941, we talked about how they were just really bad at managing things. There was a lot of chaos, anarchy. And this also carried over to keeping communists in jail. Like they were also very bad at doing that job. And around May of that year, around 200 commies, including 3 original members of the original Central Committee, the OCC, the real guys, escaped from Folegandros and Kimolos, and by fall, around 2,000 communists had managed to break out of jail throughout Greece. This is just in the Italian and German occupied areas.
Okay.
In the Bulgarian occupied areas, some KKE members had the really smart idea of just claiming Bulgarian nationality.
Oh my God.
And just saying, hey, I'm actually Slavic. I'm Bulgarian, bro. And Bulgaria was like, oh, word, really? They're like, yes. I love chivati or whatever they eat up there. They're like, okay, you're good. You can be free. And the Bulgarians let like a lot of them out because they thought they were, Bulgarian. They thought they were Slavo-Macedonians. And they would help with like the Bulgarization of Macedonia.
Okay, got it.
But they'll just like most of them just dipped out after.
Right. Yeah. Once that was a method to get them to where they needed to get to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Where he's in line to go to jail or whatever. And he's like, you got to go there. And he's like, the other guy said I'm already done. He's like, oh, okay. And then he just let him out.
Yep.
So, now that a significant amount of commies were out and about, it wasn't long before they got to work and did what they do best: organize, and co-opt other political groups they could find. And soon enough, their hard work will pay off. And I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for today. And join us next time as we talk about the brutal winter in 1941, 1942, and we slowly introduce ourselves to some more varieties of the Greek resistance.
Nice. That was awesome, man. That was fun.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to put the link on for the NoneTaken podcast. Give it a listen, guys. Please support. I'm really bad at plugging. I've had other friends come on. I'm so bad at plugging myself, guests. So
I appreciate it because I have that same disorder where it's like,
gotta
that's
write
right.
a sticky note or something.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
I've got an
know what it is.
opportunity to talk to people that haven't heard of the show before. Yeah. Come check us out. We're really proud of what we've been doing. We've been doing it since 2020. Started as a passion project at the beginning of the pandemic. And, me and my co-host are just kind of news junkies growing up. We love talking about politics. I've bounced around from party to party. I call myself a bit of a political nomad, but the good thing that came from it is I seem to have the ability to talk to people across different political ideologies. Also, because of that, I have a lot of strong opinions, but I'm very empathetic, like politically, to people who have varied opinions. So I have appreciated what it's exposed to me across the course of my political life. But I don't know if that was that much of an invitation to talk about the show. If you like things that sound like a weird jambalaya of politics, come on over to NoneTaken podcast. We have a good time. We try to make it funny too. That's like our primary directive is make it funny,
Yeah.
Not make it light.
100%.
We're going to talk about heavy ass shit. We're going to make it funny.
Yeah, no, it's a good time for sure.
Thanks, man. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
Honor to get to come on here, and thank you. Congratulations on what you're doing, man. You made that very understandable. And when I interrupted with questions, you're like, I got an answer for that. Yeah, man, very knowledgeable show. Really enjoyed the opportunity to get to be on here.
Hey, appreciate that a lot, and I hope we'll have you back on another time soon.
Absolutely.
Gonna back on again another time soon. Take care.
Σε αγαπούσα, ήσουν